Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers coming to you from the Detroit Regional Chamber Mackinac Policy Conference being taped at the Grand Hotel. Our topic today is TechTown. Joining us now to talk about it is its president and CEO, Lynn Smith. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
What exactly is TechTown?
TechTown is an incubator located at Wayne State University in the city of Detroit, and we house high-tech and non-tech companies that are making their way out into the market in the city of Detroit.
So for folks who don't understand the whole concept of an incubator and exactly what they incubate, how does that whole concept work?
So incubators are really physical structures that house the new companies as they start their journey to their beginnings. And we take them from idea to concept to market and use our facilities really to wrap services around them to help them on that journey.
And TechTown has been around in one way or another for about 8 years now, so long enough to see how you've been doing. How have you been doing?
Well, we think we've been doing pretty well. As business owners ourselves, we're always trying to improve our processes and find ways to scale and sustain our business model. We've recently released our impact report, which is the first of its kind from TechTown, covering really the past 5 years of work, which is when we really launched significant programming. And we're happy to talk about a lot of really cool things like significant jobs, company creation, and maybe most importantly, the fact that we've touched over 8,000 people in the city of Detroit and started a conversation about entrepreneurship with them.
So this is all about sort of feeding that entrepreneurial spirit and making sure and helping entrepreneurs to be successful?
That's right. We've been at it a long time, and in the current context, there are lots of entrepreneurial activities, but we like to say we were kind of entrepreneurship before entrepreneurship was cool.
So is that sort of the future of Detroit or of Michigan, is that entrepreneurship?
You know, as an economic developer, I think it's a really critical part of the vibrancy of any city is that you have people actively working and engaged, and that creates density, which starts to solve a lot of the problems that exist in urban centers. So I do think it's a critical part of the solution. It's certainly not the singular solution, but we're happy to be participating in what we think is a really critical element of the solution.
So what then is in your impact report? Any big surprises, anything that you need to work on, anything that you were doing better than maybe you thought?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest surprises was the amount of capital that was deployed. We often hear folks talk about the lack of capital for entrepreneurship or startup companies, and in fact, we helped our companies raise hundreds of millions of dollars, and that would start to disprove that myth. Another really exciting outcome of our impact report is the diversity of our portfolio. So we have as many people over the age of 47 as we do under, and the majority of our folks are either women or minorities owning small businesses in the city of Detroit, which we're happy to celebrate because we think our client companies look an awful lot like the city we serve, and that was a really important, not only intentional focus of ours, but outcome.
And I would imagine after they incubate in TechTown, these companies, eventually you've had time now for them to move out and find their own homes elsewhere, correct?
Yes, that's true. Lots of them are starting to move out now. In fact, I've started to really have to focus on vacancy issues, which is not something we've had to worry about for a while, but it's good for the broader economy. So we're happy to see them go and plant themselves throughout the city and look to bring in new starts.
It's like your children are leaving home, but do you go visit them, or is there some sort of a follow-up process?
There is. We have graduate and ambassador programs so that they can forever be linked to us, and if they have a challenge along the way, they know they can reach back into our resources and find strategies to either grow or stabilize their business. So they're never too far from the nest, kind of like our kids.
All right, awesome. And then if folks want to move into TechTown, they should call you, right? Because you may have space.
We may have space.
All right, well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Lynn Smith, the president and CEO of TechTown.